Hi Scripts families! Today I want to talk about the steps we take when helping children learn to write their numbers on paper. For this I'm going to start first with just some small pieces of paper. These are about the size of a 3x5 index card. Just like when we learn to write letters, we can practice writing numbers on paper, one at a time, on a non-lined paper. When working with the child, I can first ask them, what number would you like to write? Let's say they say the number 3. I can show them how to make a very big 3 by pulling and pushing. 3. I can even remind them that we can fill the whole page up with 3s. We want to work with really big paper at first as we move from making those gross movements that we started on chalk into finer and finer movements. Just like when writing letters, we can also divide that paper in half to encourage the child to make their numbers smaller and smaller. When they filled up one page of paper with the number, you can ask them, would you like to write another? And if they'd like to do another, you can set that aside, choose another piece of paper. What number would you like to write? When the child has had enough practice writing numbers on paper with no lines, we can move to a chart. There's a couple different ways you can do this. One way is to work with the whole paper. One way is to cut so that you have one row. And you can simply work with one row at a time. But let's say I want to work with my child on this. I would have my child sitting next to me here. They would have their own number paper. This would be my paper for writing numbers. This would be their paper for writing their numbers. And I would start first by saying, what number would you like to write? And let's say this time they choose 4. I would say, okay, I am going to write a whole row of 4s. We want to model how to hold the pencil nice and low. And we want to write very slowly, emphasizing the 3 strokes that go into making the number 4. And I would make my whole row of 4s. When I was done with my row, I would say, and now it's your turn. And then I would observe how they make their 4s. If they make their 4s backwards, or if they struggle making their 4s, I resist the temptation to say anything, but I just remember it in my mind so that I can show them on chalk another day. When they're done, I say, would you like to write another number? Let's say they choose the number 9. I'd say, okay, let's write the number 9. I'm going to make a whole row of number 9s. Again, I might take the opportunity to show them how we hold the pencil, emphasizing holding it nice and low. When showing children how to make 9, I like to start at the bottom and go up, as it is a different feeling motion to making the number 6. When I'm done, I then invite the child. Now it's your turn. And again, I wait and just observe how the child works with writing the number 9. If they're making a mistake or an error in your opinion, resist the temptation at that moment to say anything. Record it in your mind that tomorrow you'll work on the chalkboard making and tracing the number 9. After the child has worked on writing one whole row of the same numbers, and worked on them in whatever order they want, we can begin then encouraging them to write the numbers 1 to 10 in order. I could say, today, let's work on writing our numbers 1 to 10. Again, I take the opportunity to model how to pick up and hold the pencil, and I start very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now it's your turn, and I give the child the chance to write their numbers on the row. When they're done, I say, let's write another row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I invite the child to work on writing their row of numbers. Filling up the whole page can be daunting. Some children are okay if you stop at 2 rows and you pick it up the next day. But if you have a child who is upset with not finishing something, that's one of the reasons why I might cut just 1 strip or 2 strips, or if your child is capable of doing 3 strips, cut 3 together to make a block of work that they can manage. We often call this paper the 100 paper because what we're working towards is for the child to be able to start at 1 and to write out all their numbers down to 100. In the beginning, a child may need support. If your child is already practicing writing their numbers, if your child has already had the teen boards and the 10 boards and they're counting chains, they may be ready to write their numbers beyond 10. And this is where you can work with them. This also helps you know what the upper limit of their counting is. I'm going to ask my daughter to help me with this, and so I'm going to start and I'm going to count to 10, and after that I'm going to ask her what number comes next. Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what? Today, I think we can go past 10. Let's see how far we can go. What is the very next number after 10?
11.
11. 11 is 1 10 and 1 unit. And what's the very next number after 11?
12.
12 is 1 10, 2 units. And what is the very next number after 12?
13.
13 is 1 10, 3 units. And what is the very next number after 13?
14.
14 is 1 10, 4 units. And what is the very next number after 14?
15.
15 is 1 10, 5 units. And what is the very next number after 15?
16.
16 is 1 10, 6 units. And what is the very next number after 16?
17.
17 is 1 10, 7 units. And what's the very next number after 17?
18.
18. 18 is 1 10, 8 units. And what is the very next number after 18?
19.
19. 19 is 1 10, 9 units. And what is the very next number after 19?
20.
20. 20 is 2 tens, 0 units. We have filled up another row. Would you like to keep going?
Yes.
What's the very next number after 20?
21.
21. 2 tens, 1 unit. And what's the very next number after 21?
22.
22. 2 tens, 2 units. And what's the very next number after 22?
23.
2 tens, 3 units. And what is the very next number after 23?
24.
2 tens, 4 units. And let's say she didn't know the very next number after 24. I would say, you know what? This is some big work. We're going to stop here. Now, it's your turn. You can write your numbers from 1 to 24. Maybe one day they can only get up to 25. And then the next day they can only get to 37. And then the day after that they can only get to 50. It's okay. Each time they're building on and counting on from where they were before. Eventually they will make it all the way to 100. And after they have practiced getting to 100 and writing to 100 several times and can do it independently, we can then play a game. I'm going to say, I'm going to play a game with you. We know this is our 100 board. I am going to circle a couple squares. These squares are like magic numbers. Without writing any other number in the board, can you tell me what number goes in this square? And by now, they won't need to write the number down to know they can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or, if they've been paying attention to the pattern and they've taken it in their minds, they may even know that this is 1 to 10, 11 to 19. So this is 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, 82, 83, 84. When they're done finding the magic numbers, you can then invite them. Would you like to fill in the rest of them? And you may be surprised because completing the 100 chart and writing the numbers from 1 all the way to 100 is an incredibly satisfying task for the 5-year-old child.